Method, baby. A lot of research.
A lot of research into the...
A lot of in-depth research and character study, and I think it adds it.
Hollywood's golden boy seems to be aging in reverse, his face smoother and his style more refined than ever before. But as Brad Pitt's appearance changes, so does the story surrounding him. He recently shaved his head for a high-stakes movie role, a physical transformation that mirrored the seismic shifts happening in his private life. The question everyone is starting to ask is a chilling one. Is this reinvention an artistic choice, or is it the desperate act of a man trying to outrun a story so dark it could shatter his carefully constructed legacy forever? The world saw the buzz cut, but they didn't see the billion-dollar gamble behind it. Pitt's Formula One movie is one of the most expensive films ever made, a project he poured his own soul and reputation into. After a string of professional disappointments and personal chaos, this film has to be a hit. It's more than a movie, it's a lifeline. He wasn't just shedding his hair, he was trying to shed the image of a man whose life was spiraling out of control. But while he was focusing on the racetrack, a much more brutal war was being waged over the one place he once called paradise, Chateau Miraval. The name itself sounds like a fairy tale. A sprawling, sun-drenched estate in the south of France, complete with a vineyard that became the symbol of his and Angelina Jolie's global empire. It was where they married, where their children played, and where they built a rosé wine business worth hundreds of millions. It was their fortress of love and power. But that fortress was about to become a prison, the site of a betrayal so cold and calculated, it would expose the rot that had been festering at the heart of their relationship for years. The dream officially died when Angelina Jolie sold her half of the winery. To an outsider, it was a business deal. To Pitt, it was a declaration of war. He claimed they had a pact, a promise never to sell their shares without the other's consent. But Jolie didn't just sell, she sold to a Russian oligarch with ties that Pitt found deeply disturbing. His legal filings accused her of intentionally trying to inflict harm on him, to sabotage the business he had poured his passion into. The message was clear. If she couldn't have Miraval, she would make sure he would never enjoy it either. But the fight over the winery was just a symptom of a much deeper, more violent sickness that had shattered their family years earlier. The breaking point happened at 30,000 feet. On a private jet in 2016, the perfect family image was set on fire. Reports from an FBI investigation, later unsealed, painted a horrifying picture. Allegations surfaced that a drunken Pitt had become enraged, at one point allegedly getting physical with one of his own children who was trying to defend their mother. The court documents were chilling, describing him yelling, grabbing Jolie, and pouring beer and red wine on his own family. It was the end of their marriage, but it was only the beginning of a public war and a private hell that would see Pitt lose the one thing he claimed to cherish most: his own children. The rejection was slow, painful, and brutally public. One by one, it seemed his children began to distance themselves. The most public blow came when his daughter, Shiloh, legally filed to have the name Pitt removed from her surname on her 18th birthday. Other children had reportedly already dropped it from their social media profiles. The world knew him as Brad Pitt, the icon, but to his own family, that name was becoming a painful memory they wanted to erase. This wasn't just a teenage rebellion. It was a profound statement, a public severing of ties that spoke volumes about the private wounds that refused to heal. But every story has two sides, and Jolie's is one of a woman who claims she was fighting for her survival. Her legal team has consistently painted Pitt's lawsuits not as the actions of a heartbroken father, but as the relentless campaign of a powerful man obsessed with control. They allege that he tried to use a restrictive NDA to silence her from speaking about the abuse that she claims went on for years, long before the infamous plane incident. In her version of events, the battle for Miraval was never about grapes or money. It was about her refusing to be controlled by the man she says terrorized her family. Through it all, an astonishing phenomenon has occurred. Brad Pitt's star has barely dimmed. He remains one of the most beloved actors on the planet, a golden boy wrapped in a Teflon shield. While other careers have been incinerated for far less, Pitt has weathered years of shocking accusations, lawsuits, and family turmoil, all while continuing to land magazine covers and blockbuster roles. It raises a disturbing question about the Hollywood machine itself, a system that seems determined to protect its most valuable assets, no matter the cost. Is it his undeniable charm, or is something more powerful at play, keeping his image polished while the foundations of his life crumble? As the legal battles rage on, a new woman has appeared on his arm, Inez de Ramon, a jewelry executive decades younger than him. Their relationship has been a whirlwind of public appearances, from concerts to romantic beach strolls. To his supporters, it's a sign that he's finally moving on, finding happiness after years of misery. But to skeptics, the timing is almost too perfect. Is this a genuine romance, or a masterful PR move designed to soften his image, to present him as a loving partner instead of a legal aggressor? In the twisted world of Hollywood perception, a new love story might just be the best defense. Beneath the surface of the scandals lies a quieter, stranger struggle. Pitt has spoken about suffering from a rare condition called prosopagnosia, or face blindness. He admits that he struggles to remember people's faces, leading many to think he's arrogant or aloof. It's a hidden source of anxiety in a life lived entirely in the public eye. Imagine being one of the most famous people in the world, yet feeling completely isolated, unable to form basic connections because your own mind betrays you. It adds another layer of complexity to the man, a hint of a private vulnerability that the golden boy persona could never reveal. This wasn't his first time clashing with a global superpower. Long before his war with Jolie, Pitt found himself on the wrong side of an entire country. His 1997 film, 7 Years in Tibet, which depicted the Chinese takeover of the region, was seen as a major political statement. As a result, he was banned from entering China for nearly 2 decades. It was an early sign of his rebellious streak, a willingness to engage in conflicts that others would run from. It showed a man who wasn't afraid of a fight, a trait that would come to define his personal life in the most destructive way possible. His image as a great humanitarian also took a devastating hit. In the wake of Hurricane Katrina, Pitt launched the Make It Right Foundation, a charity dedicated to building sustainable, affordable homes for residents of New Orleans' devastated Lower Ninth Ward. It was a noble cause that earned him global praise. But the dream quickly soured. Residents began to complain of leaking roofs, rotting wood, and structural failures. Lawsuits were filed, accusing the foundation of building shoddy, dangerous homes. The man who promised to make it right was now at the center of a scandal that accused him of betraying the very people he had vowed to help. The journey to sobriety was not a gentle awakening. It was a desperate act of survival. Pitt has been open about his struggles with alcohol, admitting that his drinking got out of control in the final days of his marriage. He joined Alcoholics Anonymous after the plane incident, forced to confront the demons that had cost him his family. It was a raw, humbling experience, sitting in a room full of strangers and admitting he had hit rock bottom. His sobriety was a necessary step to reclaim his life, but it was a journey that began in the wreckage of his own making. Long before the world was divided into Team Jolie, it was fractured by Team Aniston. The media narrative of the 2000s was relentless, pitting 2 of Hollywood's most famous women against each other with Pitt as the silent, coveted prize. He was the man who left America's sweetheart for the exotic, dangerous bombshell. For years, he seemed to float above the fray, benefiting from the intense public interest in his love life. But looking back, it's clear that his personal life has always been a spectacle, a battleground where the women he loved were turned into public combatants. Now, the war is entering its final, ugliest phase. The legal fight over Chateau Miraval has escalated to a shocking new level. Pitt's lawyers are now demanding Jolie turn over years of her private correspondence, including every NDA she has ever signed with third parties. It's a scorched earth tactic, a desperate attempt to find leverage by digging into every corner of her private life. This is no longer about a winery. It's about total victory, no matter how much collateral damage is inflicted along the way. The final showdown is looming, and it threatens to reveal secrets that could destroy them both for good. So who is the real Brad Pitt? Is he the last of the true movie stars? A charming icon fighting to protect his legacy from a bitter ex? Or is he a master of manipulation? A man whose carefully crafted mask of perfection has finally begun to crack under the weight of his own dark secrets. The golden boy image has been shattered, replaced by a portrait of a man at war with his family, his past, and himself. And as the final chapter of this Hollywood tragedy unfolds, one thing is certain. The world will be watching, waiting to see if the man behind the mask is a hero or a villain.